Hello, chess family. It's me, National Master Jesse James. It's time for another installment of Instructive Chess Miniatures. In this one, we're going to be seeing a nice attacking game against the Caro Kann. Here we go. We start with e4, c6, d4, d5, and here knight to d2, the modern variation. Pawn takes, and knight to d7. A very common idea here. Although it's not totally necessary, Black is trying to get out of this idea that, well, they'd like to play knight f6 here to approach or trade this knight, and, well, they don't want to allow the idea of knight takes on f6 for the doubling of the pawns with the either e pawn or the g pawn over here. So with that being said, they go ahead and play the knight to d7, allowing if knight f6, they can capture back with the knight, not messing up their pawn structure. Makes sense to me. And here, well, we go ahead and play a fun attacking idea, knight to g5. This was actually used in the Kasparov game, and I think he even used this against Karpov quite a few times. Funny enough, I think he uses this. Deep Blue uses this against him and actually wins the game. Pretty sad for Kasparov, I'm sure. All right, knight g goes to f6. With that being said, this is a very aggressive one, and it does give white really good attacking chances. So I do recommend you to try this one out. Bishop to d3, of course, masters put their bishop to d3. It's going to attack the weak h7 pawn. Why attack h7? Well, although h7 is obviously not a good square to attack right now, later on, whenever you castle, well, this is going to be the checkmate square or the weak square whenever you're castle. Black tries to defend against this g6, saying, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and fianchetto here. Definitely overprotect this h7 square. And here we just keep developing. Knight to f3, bishop g7, and queen to e2. A very nice move. Here you can see that white's got very good piece development here, and they've also done a very good job by attacking over here on the king side. All right, what do we do now? Here we're going to go ahead and play castles. I do want to point out a little bit of a nice idea here. Here, a common idea might be to play something like pawn to h6, but this is actually a trap that, well, people do fall for quite a bit. And here it's white to move. What do you play here to get a very nice attacking position or winning attack? I hope you push pause. Hope you try to figure this out. Here you get the beautiful knight to e6 here, forking the queen and the bishop. Wait a second, can't they just take? Well, they can take and they should take. But after f takes on e6, bishop takes g6, king to f8. Well, here you can play quite a few different moves here. Be careful. Don't play queen takes e6 right away, as queen a5 check, bishop to d2, queen d5 can allow an equal game. With that being said, after you do play this move, just go ahead and castle here, and then you can be threatening something as simple as queen takes on e6. But here the king is just very misplaced. Here white is just in a winning position here. And this is the trap that hopefully you'll know about for the future, so you can either prevent it as black or spur it on as white. All right, in the game, black went ahead and castled. And, well, white has not castled yet, so let's go ahead and send it. Here white goes for the kingside attack, pawn to h4. Here comes Harry the h-pawn. Pawn to h6 got played. And now a beautiful attacking idea here. Apparently it's been played quite a few times. Pawn to h5. Now I won't say this is winning by force, but it does give you really good attacking chances. Well, it's kind of hard not to take here, so the knight took on h5 here. I do want to point out, what happens if h takes on g5 here? Well, here white's again going to get a nice attacking game with pawn to h6. Well, if you don't move the bishop, you're going to lose it. Bishop goes to h8, and here the knight goes to g5. Here the ideas are plentiful. h7 check is idea with maybe knight e6 check, bishop coming over. Here this is a +1 position for the worst case scenario for black. +4 best case scenario for white here. So white's attack is definitely spurred on and will be very strong for them in the future. Even bishop takes g6, oh my gosh, is a threat here. Again, black's just not paying attention. Bishop takes on g6, pawn takes, queen e6 check will lead to mate over here. So, back to the game. Here, black went ahead and played knight takes on h5. And here again, let's just keep this going. Pawn to g4. We're going to keep sending all our pawns up. This is how you should be playing whenever it's opposite side castling, or in this case, king in the center versus king side castling. Here we send up our pawns to try to open up the files and diagonals so we can attack this king. All right, well, the knight went back to f6. And here, well, go ahead and push pause. I encourage you to continue the attack here. What do you play here to open up the king side? Remember, to attack your opponent's king, we need open files and diagonals. How do you achieve this? All right, hopefully you push pause. Hope you tried to figure it out. What do you play here? Here again, we see this nice stunner, knight to e6. You can really see how they're playing against the light squares in a lot of these combinations. Well, if you don't take back, you're just going to be losing the exchange, which, you know, probably would have been one of the better ways to try to play this, in this position. That being said, f takes on e6, and now we're just going to go through with it. Queen takes on e6 check, and rook to f7. And this is pretty much forced here because, well, if you go ahead and try to, I don't know, to play the king over to h7 or to h8, well, now we have really cool ideas here. Bishop takes on h6. Again, if you don't take, you're just going to be losing. Bishop takes, and now we have pawn g5, and oof, you can't even try to do the pin to block over here. As rook takes h5 is just going to be opening it up. Also, you have queen takes g6 check, which will lead to mate here too. Oof. So the rook has to block over here. And simple chess, we just keep attacking. Bishop takes on g6, attacking the pinned piece. Queen to f8, saying, hey, please, let's go ahead and trade so I can get my pieces alive here. Of course, white is not going to be so nice here. They keep adding more pieces. They keep adding pressure. Pawn to g5, attacking the knight and the h-pawn, trying to open up the h-file over here. And knight to d5. Of course, taking here would only lead to worse ideas. After h takes on g5, knight takes on g5, and now we see f7 has another attacker over here, and maybe even bishop h7 check if they're not being careful over here. Here we again we have the plus, oh my gosh, plus 10 position being you're more than up a queen here. So knight d5 got played, trying to stop this idea, but here we just play simple chess, and well, a nice little sacrifice here. Here. Well, I'm sorry, just a nice little continuation here. Pawn takes on h6 and knight to e5 here. Notice here again, we're having trouble. If the bishop tries to move anywhere, it's just going to be bad for you. Bishop to f6, h7 check, king to h8, and now we have removed the defender, and we can take on f7 here for a free piece. Of course, if you try something like king to g7, you can make a queen right here, and, well, apparently it's checkmate in 2 here. White to move. What do you play here? To checkmate in 2. All right, here this beautiful checkmate is queen check. It's a deflection sacrifice. Queen has to take over here, and now you play queen takes on f7 for checkmate. Oof. Well, back to the game. G takes h6. Here, black tries a creative idea. Knight to e5. It looks like it might be working over here. As we see, well, the bishop opened up to attack the queen. The knight is starting to take the knight. The rook is defending here, if you will. And here, the bishop is defending the knight here. Did white miss something? No. In fact, here is going to be our final sacrifice here to win the game. White to move. What do you play here to continue the attack? All right, here we go. Here we have a final sacrifice of bishop to h7 check. A beautiful idea here because we want to open up the h-file to attack this king, but, well, we need the tempo of check here. Of course, if they play something like king h8, again, it's going to be losing. Pawn takes on g7 check, and queen takes, rook takes. It doesn't really matter here. So back to the game. Black went ahead and played king takes on h7, and now it's a forced checkmate in 3 moves. H takes on g7, king takes on g7, queen h6 check, king back, and queen back to h8 for check and mate. Well, guys, hope you enjoyed this nice attacking idea for the Caro Kann. Here it goes with e4, c6, d4, d5, knight to d2, modern variation, pawn takes, knight d7, and here we go, knight to g5. There's lots of ideas about this knight to e6 move. In fact, one of the cool ones I've seen is, again, just h6 right away, and knight e6 gets played. And here the queen is, having some trouble here. Obviously, you don't take because the queen will checkmate on h5. I encourage you to try this kind of gambit line out. We'll see you in the next video.